Hey guys, Justin here with Just Tech. Today, I'm going to be bringing you my full review of the iPhone 7. Now, if you follow my channel, you know that I did a first look of the iPhone 7 a couple weeks ago when it first came out. And in it, I actually mentioned that this is my first time reviewing any iDevice. The iPhone 6s and 6s Plus had already come out by the time I'd started my channel, and I got so wrapped up doing some other things that I never got a chance to review it. But here we are, so I'm not going to waste any more time, and I'm going to get right into it, starting with the build and the design.
At first glance, there doesn't seem to be much that's changed, but look closer and you'll see some subtle changes that really add up to a pretty new iPhone experience. Starting on the back of the phone, the antenna lines are all but gone, at least on the matte black model here. They've been moved up and around the curve of the phone, and with the darker color, they practically disappear. I never realized how much I cared about those ugly antenna lines until they were gone, so good riddance. One of the other major design changes on the iPhone 7 is the now larger camera bump. I'm happy that Apple didn't have the camera bump stick out any further, and making it wider actually seems to improve the way the phone sits on a flat surface if you don't have a case on it. It seems sturdier, which is a welcome change. I, for one, would have preferred no hump and then fill out that extra space with battery, but what are you gonna do? As I mentioned, this is the new matte black model that I specifically chose over the jet black model. Now, don't get me wrong, the jet black model looks drop dead gorgeous, and from what I heard, it feels amazing. But I am just too much of a scratchophobe to deal with microabrasions after only a day or two of use. The matte black model is the perfect compromise. It's stealthy and sleek, and from all reports, much more durable than the last metal black iPhone, the iPhone 5. Of course, the new iPhone 7 also comes in your standard silver, gold, and rose gold, with space gray getting the boot for the matte and jet black models. Even though there wasn't much of a change from the design of the iPhone 6s, the iPhone 7 still manages to make some pretty big changes in the hardware department. For starters, we'll start with the elephant in the room, the headphone jack, or rather, the lack thereof. Now, my feelings on this went back and forth a few times. When I first heard it was going to be missing, I was pissed. Then, when I found out that Apple was going to include the adapter in the box and like price gouge everyone for replacements, I was totally cool with it. Then, when I was at a coffee shop last week listening to people order what sounded like 37 lattes in a row, I went to grab my headphones and remembered I forgot the stupid adapter at home. That's when I went back to pissed. I mean, look, I get what Apple's trying to do, and they're not alone. Lenovo ditched the headphone jack too, and others are following suit. But maybe I'm just hoping for some sort of magical solution that doesn't exist. In the meantime, my 70,000 pairs of headphones are just going to sit there looking all depressed that they aren't Lightning enabled. And I'm certainly not going to go rebuy all of them if and when they come out with Lightning connections. If that isn't locking you into one ecosystem, I don't know what is. The other major hardware change is the home button, or rather, a lack thereof. The home button is dead. Long live the home button. Doubling down on their Taptic Engine technology, Apple ditched the physical hardware button and now features a solid surface that uses that engine to deliver a click. It isn't as robust or lifelike as Force Touch is on my 15-inch Retina MacBook Pro, but honestly, it'll do. I've seen a lot of hate for the new home button online, and I really can't understand why. I got used to it almost immediately, and aside from a few issues here and there, I've had almost no problems using it. The other hardware changes are more internal, and the big ones are the now stereo speaker arrangement and water resistance. While stereo speakers aren't the biggest deal in the world to me, they are nice to have. Instead of a traditional arrangement though, you now have sound emanating from the bottom speaker that we're all used to, but it also comes out of the earpiece you would use for phone calls. It's a pretty okay setup, and it definitely gets loud. I was pretty impressed that Apple was able to deliver this kind of sound in such a small package, and for sharing YouTube videos or watching movies in a pinch, they're a welcome change. The other change is certainly more welcome, and that's water resistance. It's IP67 rated, which means that it can withstand immersion in water for 30 minutes at a depth of up to 1 meter. Plenty of people have put the iPhone 7 to the test in terms of water resistance, so I'm not going to do it. But what it means for most people is that at the end of the day, it'll survive some splashes, getting caught in the rain, or even an accidental dunk in the pool or toilet. Considering the iPhone 6s and 6s Plus were actually water resistant to a degree, I'm happy to see Apple fully announcing and supporting it. Bottom line, thanks for the water resistance, Apple. With the iPhone 7, we now have iOS 10. Now, iOS 10 is absolutely stuffed with new features, but I'm going to show off a few of the ones that I use the most and find the most useful. I can certainly do a full software review in a separate video. If you're interested in that, let me know down in the comments. Starting with the lock screen, I was also one of those people that found the new Touch ID to be way too fast on the iPhone 6s and resorted to doing some sort of finger acrobatics with any finger that wasn't associated with my fingerprint just to view notifications before the phone unlocked. The way Apple fixed this is by introducing Press Home to unlock, which means you can rest your finger on the Touch ID sensor, which is just as fast as the iPhone 6s, but the phone will just unlock. It won't actually open to your home screen. This way, you can view and manage your notifications right there, and if you do want to go to your home screen, just press on that home button and it'll unlock just as it did before. At first, I found this annoying, but that was when I was using the beta version of iOS 10 on my 6S and 6S Plus with physical home buttons. With the new home button, this function actually makes so much more sense because there's no more button travel with the new one. You barely have to press to unlock it, and I can really see now why Apple implemented this feature. The next feature I use all the time are the lock screen widgets. Rather than clutter up your actual lock screen, which I think even Android ditched a long time ago, a quick swipe to the right will show you all the widgets you've selected. Given that your phone doesn't unlock so quickly anymore, this is a nice way to view things like your next appointment, the weather, rain chances, or even breaking news headlines. I use this first thing in the morning when I wake up, so it's nice to have all that information available at a glance. Raise to Wake is another feature that I actually like that some others seem to either really hate or just find annoying that it may drain their battery. Like the Apple Watch, iOS 10 will now use the accelerometer to determine when you're raising your phone up out of your pocket or off a table, and it'll light up the screen. I don't think there's really a doubt that the iPhone 7 and 7 Plus come with some of the best smartphone cameras out there. I think a few other manufacturers may beat the iPhone camera in a few different areas, but as an overall package, no one smartphone out there beats the iPhone in my opinion. It's easy to use, works great in a variety of lighting conditions, it's easy to share photos, and really anyone can master it. I have used so many different cameras on so many different smartphones, and I can safely say that not one of them beats the iPhone in terms of ease of use and reliability. All the photos you've been seeing here were taken with the iPhone 7 in a lot of different and sometimes tricky or darker lighting. I've been blown away with the iPhone 7's ability to shoot fantastic photos and video. Having come from the iPhone 6S Plus, I'd gotten used to the OIS, so I'm happy to see the iPhone 7 pick this up as it was missing on the smaller iPhone 6S. Both photos and videos come out looking buttery smooth, and the amount of times I've had a blurry photo is way less than on any previous phone. Also upgraded is the front-facing camera, bumping up the megapixels from 5 to 7. Not only does that mean better selfies, but it also means that video capture is now up from 720p to 1080p. There's really no excuse for a crummy front-facing camera anymore, so while it took a while, I'm happy that Apple decided to catch up in this area. While I haven't had a chance to test the new portrait mode on the iPhone 7 Plus, initial reports are that it's almost magic. The iPhone 7 Plus is certainly not the first to implement this type of feature, but as with other areas where iPhone cameras excel, it's a lot easier than on some other phones, and it just seems to work. As soon as I can get my hands on an iPhone 7 Plus, I'll be putting this to the test to see what kind of great shots I can get. Now, battery's probably been one area that the iPhone always seems to fall short of expectations on. Apple claims that battery life on both the iPhone 7 and 7 Plus are increased over the previous year, which is obviously welcome. But let me put it this way, I really didn't want to move to the iPhone 6S Plus. I really like the smaller form factor of the 6S, but I could not get through a full day no matter what I did. Apple seems to know this since they released their first battery case only for the iPhone 6S, and then a newer one for the iPhone 7, so clearly they know battery is still an issue. With the iPhone 7, I find that the battery life is marginally better, but still nowhere near as good as the iPhone 6S Plus or the 7 Plus. I did buy the new Apple Smart Battery case, and while it has a much higher capacity than the previous model, I still wish I didn't need it. That being said though, I find it tough to even kill the Smart Battery case battery in a day, which is pretty damn impressive, but more on that when I do my full review of the case. To close this out, I'll just reiterate the point I made earlier. Smartphone manufacturers, stop chasing thinness. We've reached a point that phones are thin enough. We don't need thinner phones. We need phones with better and bigger batteries. I could honestly care less if the phone is a little larger if it means that the battery lasts much longer. Please, for the love of God, don't go all crazy with the iPhone 8 thinness and give us some battery.
So that's it, guys. That's my full review of the iPhone 7. Now, as I said in the title, this is pretty much probably the iPhone that everyone's been waiting for. It's more durable than ever, it's more waterproof than ever, the camera is one of the best out there, and overall it's just a really solid smartphone package. iOS 10 brought amazing new features and opened up the OS to developers in ways that had never been done before, so it's really exciting to see what they're going to be doing with that. We maybe didn't get the design changes that we wanted this year, but considering the fact that these days most phones pretty much look alike, I'd rather get more features rather than a design change. Of course, thanks for tuning in. Be sure to hit that thumbs up if you enjoyed the video. Let me know what you think down in the comments. Do you like the iPhone 7? Do you hate the iPhone 7? I'm interested to hear what you got to say. As always, be sure to subscribe to the channel if you want to see more content just like this, and I'll see you guys next time here on Just Tech.